Specifi permits to set an option that permits to insert the utilities directly with equipment. So you can manage the utilities later after the insertion of the wall project in the wall project of all the equipment, or you can insert them as soon as you have inserted one equipment. The software can ask to manage also the utilities. In main settings here, you can click, and under utility settings, if you want to activate this feature, you can use insert utility with equipment and also ask to move utilities with equipment. It means that once an equipment has been moved, also the utilities will come with equipment. I can press OK now. OK, and we will see now how to manage utilities for an equipment. We can make a zoom over the oven that we have inserted, so position number 10, and we can run single. Here from utilities section of Specifi ribbon, we can click single, and we can select the oven. Please select the block. Do not select the item number. It works only if you select the block. So I selected the block, and this form appears. The form shows the list of equipment and accessories you have selected, which are inside the group. As you can see, we have a gas combi oven, and we have also the steam condensing extractor hood. Starting from the oven, okay, you can decide how you want to install this oven. And for example, here you can see that the oven has an electrical onboard connection, gas onboard connection, waste, and cold water. For each of them, you have to manage the utility if you want. Otherwise, you can deactivate also. You can retrieve directly from onboard connection. The software shows the connection information, the connection data. In this case, you can activate set on screen for all. It means that you will specify X and Y coordinates directly on screen. About the elevation from the floor, okay, you can use Z above finished floor, okay, and you can set here the height you want to insert. In this case, I can leave it 1270. Also there, you can change the socket, okay, selecting one of the available socket. Okay, for example, we can select angle socket outlet EP44, and well, the same we can do for steam condensing extractor hood. So as you can see, the extractor hood has electrical connection and waste connection. Again, for electrical, we can activate set on screen, we can set the height, and we can choose the socket. The same is for waste, for example. Here we have the drain, okay, and coming back to our oven, as you can see, if I select gas, okay, also the gas you can select a different connector for the gas outlet. Okay, you have generic, or you can use the valve with the lever, otherwise with a handle from wall or from floor, and so on. I can leave it as it is now. And also for cold water, you can see that we can set the height, set on screen, and again, we have here the valve that we can select for the cold water. When you click apply, the software asks, starting from equipment onboard connection. In this case, as you can see, it's working on a steam condensing extractor hood. There is the label that is saying which product it refers. So from the onboard connection, it asks where I want to place, where I want to insert the utility. Okay, and so in this case, I can insert utilities. Maybe I can insert over there. Okay, I can help with a shift button, right click and select nearest OSNAP just to attach utility at wall. I can insert, and after that, as for equipment, it asks for rotation angle. Okay, so I move to the left in order to give the same angle of my oven, and I click another time. The utility has been inserted. Now, a message asks if I want to save the coordinates for this utility, for electrical utility. If I press yes, OK button, next time I will manage the utility, I will try to use a single utility command into the same drawing to another drawing for this equipment, okay, for this oven, and in this case for the hood. The software will suggest me to use the coordinates and the same insertion point, okay, I have saved. So now if I press OK button, okay, it saved the information. Now it continue and we have the waste. About the waste, I can put the waste maybe over there and with a rotation angle, and I click OK to save. Now, again, this is the electrical utility for the oven. Okay, and in this case, we can insert closer to the previous, okay, to the hood. So I can use nearest again. I can put there with rotation angle. I save. It's not mandatory to save, okay, but of course, if you want, it's possible. And for gas, for instance, I want to put the gas in the middle. So I put it there with the angle and I save it. And this is also the waste for the oven. So I can place it closer to the previous one. I click OK. And at the end, we have the water utility. So I can insert there. And I can save. Once you have finished, the software shows all the equipment with utilities. Please note, when you press plan view, okay, this visualization disappears because the utilities have been inserted into a specific layer, and the same is for the onboard connection. They are turned on, these layers are turned on only when you run utility command. So if I click plan view now, as you can see, you don't see any utilities. Switching to a 3D view, for example, isometric northwest view, and I can also apply realistic visual style. Okay. Here you can see the utility is just inserted with the correct height from the floor. Okay, so we have the gas, electrical utility for the oven, for the hood, and here we have the water inlet and the drain, the waste utilities on floor. So now we can do the same and manage utilities for the rest. For example, I can come back to my plan view. And for example, for dishwashing, okay, I can use single. I select the equipment, in this case, just part of the group, not the number. As you can see here, we have a hood type dishwasher, sorting inlet table, and rinse arm on the left side. In this case, the dishwasher has electrical, waste, and cold water. As you can see, for example, I have already saved my configuration before. So for electrical, I have this kind of utility with this height and everything. So for waste, I already have the waste, and also for cold water. The same is for the sorting inlet table, okay, and also for rinse arm on the left side. Okay, so we have already configured because I have already configured before into another project. So in this case, I have just to click apply, and the software automatically insert all the utility. In this case, it asks me where I want to insert for the tab, it asked me to insert the cold water. Okay, so because I have activated the set on screen, so it stores also that option. Okay, so I can use, in this case, perpendicular. I can put it there and click OK. And now for hot water I can use again perpendicular. I'm using Quick Snap with a shift button or control and right click. Okay. And here again, another for, but in this case, maybe I can insert over there, maybe. I use nearest, so I can put here. Okay. At the end, it doesn't ask for the waste because the waste, it was not supposed to ask for the coordinates again. But in this case, it depends because when you select an item, if I select it again, okay, you have just to check if set on screen is activated or not. Okay, so it depends for which utility. For example, for waste is not activated, for cold water maybe is not activated. So and that's it. As you can see here for prayer rinse arm on the left side, it was activated, and that's why it asked for hot water and cold water information because it was configured set on screen. Okay. We can close, and so in this way you can manage and configure all the utilities for each equipment you have inserted. So you can continue with the rest. You can see here which equipment have onboard connection because are turned on. So for each of them, you can manage the utilities. Once you have inserted all the utilities, I remind that clicking plan view, they disappear. If you want to see them, you can use visibility command on Specifi layout section of Specifi ribbon. So clicking visibility. Visibility is a command that permits to turn on a specific category of layers. In this case, if you want to see all layers for cold water, hot water, gas, electricity, and waste, these are the utilities that we managed before. When I click OK, the software shows, you can see that the software turns on all the utilities inserted and all the onboard connection. You can use the same command, okay, just if you want to see maybe removing all the hydraulic part and just leaving electrical part, okay? And as you can see here, you have only the electrical part. Also, okay, that's probably coming back again. Okay, so if I want to see electrical, but I don't want to see the onboard connection, I want to see just 2D utility, okay, not 3D and not utility label. We'll see how to insert also label and dimensions for utilities. Okay, as you can see here, you can activate only 2D, the bidimensional part of for utilities. Here below you have equipment, 2D for equipment, for general, for walls and so on. Spaces, if you want to see the spaces, the areas that we have inserted in our drawing, and also annotations, if there are also annotations. And also the 3D part. When you click OK, you can see now that it turns on only the bidimensional symbols for electrical utilities and nothing else. Let's see now how to insert a spare utility. Spare means I don't want to associate the utility to any product inserted into the drawing. And for example, here we have at wall, we have the portion scale. Okay, as you can see here, we have a portion scale. I want to insert here at wall a plug, electrical plug. In order to insert, instead of using single, I use spare. I click spare and the software opens the similar interface. In this case, I have to select and I have to check. For example, on the left, I can select the type of utility, electrical. In the middle, I can choose what kind of utility I want to insert. For example, I can check the double Shuko socket IP20. Okay, I can set also the power and 4 kilowatt and the insertion height. But insertion height, you can change it. You can also move later the block up or down. And set on screen. As you can see here, we have the bidimensional symbols, the 3D symbols that the software will insert, and also the utility scheme that it will use into the layout. When I click Insert now, you can also add and remove, so you can manage this list with your utility, and you can change also the visualization order of this list. So you can customize with your own utilities. I can click Insert now, and the software asks me where I want to place utility. As you can see, you don't see properly the symbol, okay, but this is the utility, so I want to insert here at wall, so I can use a shift right click and choose nearest. As when we insert utilities, I can put it there, a rotation angle, so I move to the right, another click, and the utility has been inserted. To see the utilities, okay, this utility, you can move to isometric southeast, for instance, and you can make a zoom. This is the plug that we have inserted. I can apply also the shading, realistic visual style. Okay, and I can use from here 3D orbit just to rotate and see the plug inserted at wall. And for this utility, okay, you can retrieve it when you generate the schedule. You can retrieve this utility in creating a schedule by utility instead of by product. And in the same way, you can add as many spare utility at wall or wherever you want. You can add your own spare utilities.